Only 1% of American households use a pawnshop each year, according to the FDIC. Despite that low percentage, you've probably heard of pawning something as a way to access emergency funds, or at least watched Pawn Stars. But how exactly does a pawnshop work? Keep watching and subscribe below. Now, you can't answer the question of how does a pawnshop work without breaking down the details of a pawnshop loan. With a pawnshop loan, you have to offer a piece of your property as collateral. That means you give something you own to the pawnshop, and if you don't pay them back, they keep it. In addition to the collateral, pawnshop loans tend to charge high interest rates. According to some experts, some pawnshop loans even have a 240% annual percentage rate, meaning you'd pay 20% interest each month. The exact rate will depend on your location. The pawnshop industry is heavily regulated, and each state has its own rules about interest rates. Pawnshop loans typically have 30-day terms, meaning that's how long you have to pay the money back. And honestly, the process is pretty straightforward. Just bring an item to a pawnshop, have the pawnshop employee estimate the value of your item, and make a loan offer. If you sign the loan agreement, you'll be given the money and your item will be stored at the pawnshop. You then pay off the loan, plus interest, before the term is up, and the pawnshop returns your item. If you can't pay off the loan, you can try asking for an extension, but keep in mind this will likely bring an additional fee and an increase to your interest rates. Also, be aware that if you miss the deadline altogether, the pawnshop will take possession of your item. There's another way to use pawnshops though, and that might be the one you're more familiar with, which is buying and selling. You bring in an item you don't want anymore, and the pawnshop will buy it from you before selling it to someone else. You can pawn pretty much any item: jewelry, gold, silver, and other precious metals, watches, smartphones, antiques, electronics, instruments, power tools. The list goes on and on and on. So, if you have some items to spare, you could use them to secure a loan or sell them outright. But is a pawnshop loan really a good idea? Well, it can be, but not often. Here are the pros and cons to consider. Pawnshops don't care about your credit score. As long as you've got an item of value to pawn, you can secure a pawnshop loan. Plus, your credit score won't be at risk. With most lenders, failing to repay a loan is brutal for your credit score. But a pawnshop will simply sell the item you left as collateral without informing the credit bureaus, and you can get money immediately. If you're truly in a pinch, a pawnshop loan offers an emergency solution. But on the flip, the interest rates are extremely high, which means you'll have to pay back significantly more than you borrowed, and you won't receive the full value of the item you leave as collateral. Let's say you have a watch that's worth $500. You can't use it to get a $500 loan. The pawnshop will only give you a portion of that amount. Most pawn loans have just 30-day terms. That's not a lot of time to repay the loan, especially with your personal belongings on the line. So weigh the pros and cons, but also weigh your other options. Let's dive into pawnshop loan alternatives. First up, personal loans. With a personal loan, a bank or credit union gives you a lump sum of money that you pay back with interest. It's not free, but it's usually a lot cheaper than a pawnshop loan. Plus, you can apply for personal loans online. Upgrade and Cash USA are two online lenders that make the application process easy. With Upgrade, you can even check your rate before you send in a formal application. Unfortunately, it can be hard to qualify for a personal loan with bad credit. But even with not so great credit, there are options. Check out my other video on loans for bad credit. Want to borrow money? There's an app for that. Several of them actually, and they're surprisingly easy to use. Some digital banking apps, including Chime and Current, offer free overdrafts as part of the service. The Dave app is another option, giving cash advances up to $500. And then there's Clio, an AI-powered platform that will lend you money. What's better than borrowing money? Making money that you don't have to pay back. And thanks to DoorDash, it's super easy to make money as a delivery driver. Just sign up online and start working a few days later. You'll get to create your own hours, and you can work as much or as little as you want. Sure, it involves working, but it's much better for your financial health than taking out a pawnshop loan. I even have a whole video on how to make more on DoorDash. Check it out! Now that's just a couple of alternatives, but there's way more. Check out my whole playlist on ways to make money and subscribe below. If you made it this far, I'm sending you all the good vibes for your pawnshop and money-making endeavors. Happy earning!